Reaching the age of 80 and finding yourself alone can be an emotionally jarring experience. Friends may have passed on, family may be distant or disconnected, and your social circle may feel painfully empty. But wise elders who have survived, and even thrived in this phase of life, often emphasize one powerful principle: accepting the reality without bitterness. This doesn't mean denying pain or pretending everything is fine. It means making peace with the truth and choosing not to let resentment poison your remaining years. Bitterness comes from unmet expectations, believing that your children should call more, your friends should still be around, or that life should look different. But after 80, clinging to shoulds only breeds suffering. Acceptance begins when you let go of what was and acknowledge what is. That doesn't mean you have to like the situation, but recognizing it without judgment gives you power. It frees you from being emotionally stuck in the past and opens the door to living in the present. Many elders who've been through this stage say that resentment ages you more than time does. It eats away at your joy, your peace, and even your physical health. They advise instead to choose grace, to grieve the losses, yes, but then to make a conscious decision to stop expecting others to rescue you from your loneliness. Life didn't turn out how you imagined, but that doesn't mean it can't still be valuable and fulfilling. This acceptance allows for a powerful shift from waiting for others to change to taking ownership of your emotional well-being. When you release others from your expectations, you're no longer disappointed when they don't call, visit, or show up. And in that freedom, you may even discover new relationships and experiences, not because you need them, but because you're open to them. Accepting your situation doesn't mean isolating yourself. It means starting from where you truly are. Once you stop resenting your loneliness, you can start addressing it more constructively. You can build new habits, develop new skills, find new sources of joy, and live with quiet pride. Elders often say, "I may be alone, but I am not broken. I've made peace with where I am." In summary, accepting reality without bitterness is the emotional foundation for surviving and even thriving alone after 80. It transforms loneliness into solitude, sorrow into reflection, and bitterness into wisdom. This mindset shift is not just survival, it's self-liberation. And it is the very first step to reclaiming peace in the final, dignified chapters of your life. After 80, especially when living alone, the days can feel long, unstructured, and sometimes empty. That's why creating a daily routine with purpose becomes one of the most powerful tools to maintain emotional balance, mental clarity, and physical health. Wise elders often share that the secret to surviving and even enjoying this phase of life lies in having something meaningful to wake up for every single day. A routine doesn't have to be rigid or overwhelming. In fact, the beauty of this stage in life is that you get to design your day based on what feels right for you. Whether it's starting the morning with a cup of tea and a prayer, walking in the garden, journaling your thoughts, or doing a light stretch, the goal is consistency. When you begin each day with intention, you send a message to yourself that your time matters and that you matter. Having structure can also prevent the emotional weight of loneliness from creeping in. A schedule gives your mind a framework, helping reduce feelings of aimlessness or anxiety. Something as simple as having breakfast at the same time, dedicating an hour to reading or crafting, and calling a friend in the afternoon can create comforting anchors in your day. These moments of purpose fill the silence with life. Importantly, your routine should include activities that spark joy and growth. Many wise elders take up small hobbies that challenge the mind and keep the spirit engaged, like painting, learning new technology, solving puzzles, or even writing letters to family or a personal memoir. These actions not only pass time but build a sense of self-worth and achievement. Even in solitude, a purposeful routine also supports your physical health. Setting regular times for gentle exercise like stretching, walking, or Tai Chi balance, circulation, and overall energy levels. Scheduling meals, hydration breaks, and medication times ensures you're taking proper care of your body without relying on others. Furthermore, include small acts of service or gratitude in your dikta. Water your plants, write a thank you card, pray for someone, donate to a cause. These may seem simple, but they connect you to something larger than yourself and create a deep sense of meaning. When you fill your day with structure, intention, and small joys, your mind stays active, your emotions stay centered, and your soul remains engaged. You begin to look forward to your days, even if no one else is around. Wise elders remind us, it's not about keeping busy, it's about living with direction. Purpose is not a grand destination, it's found in the ordinary moments that make life rich and meaningful. In the end, a purposeful daily routine is your roadmap to emotional survival and inner peace. It turns lonely days into peaceful ones and transforms your solitude into a sanctuary of self-care, reflection, and personal dignity. When everything else seems to fall away, family, friends, health, or independence, the one place that still belongs solely to you is your inner life. For elders over 80, especially those living alone, strengthening your spiritual or inner world becomes not just comforting, but vital. It is the quiet, unseen force that gives strength during moments of grief, courage during times of fear, and peace during long stretches of solitude. Wise elders who've walked this path know that the outer world can grow smaller with age, but the inner world can grow infinitely larger. Spirituality doesn't have to mean religion, though for many it does. Whether you find meaning in prayer, scripture, nature, meditation, or simply reflection, the point is to nourish your soul and maintain a connection with something greater than yourself, be it God, the universe, nature, or the human spirit. In times of deep loneliness, spiritual practices provide something that no person can offer: a sense of being seen, loved, and valued just as you are. Many seniors find comfort in daily rituals like lighting a candle, saying morning prayers, listening to sacred music, or reading inspirational texts. These small acts can create a rhythm of inner stillness and reassurance that life still holds beauty, even in silence. Reflection is another important part of strengthening your inner life. Journaling your thoughts, reviewing your life journey, and even writing letters to those who are gone can help process grief, regret, or unfinished emotions. It gives space to express what's inside and brings a sense of resolution or acceptance. Wise elders understand that solitude is not emptiness, it's an invitation to go deeper into the self and make peace with the past. Spiritual or inner strength also brings resilience. When challenges, illness, bad news, or emotional setbacks with a strong spiritual foundation are often better equipped to face them with calm and clarity. They've cultivated a deep well of trust in life, trust in their own endurance, and sometimes trust in a divine plan that transcends their circumstances. If religion is meaningful to you, reconnecting with your faith community, if it's just through online sermons, religious books, or phone calls with a spiritual leader, can renew your sense of belonging and purpose. If not, practices like mindfulness, gratitude journaling, or simply sitting quietly in nature can serve as equally powerful tools to build inner peace. Ultimately, strengthening your spiritual or inner life is about finding meaning and serenity from within, rather than relying on the outside world. It's about building a quiet, sacred space inside yourself where you feel safe, whole, and deeply connected to something eternal. On your later years, when the external world may fade, your inner world can shine brighter than ever. That light anchored in wisdom, acceptance, and faith is what helps many survive emotionally, spiritually, and even physically. After 80. Of the most important pieces of advice wise elders give about surviving and thriving alone after 80 is to stay physically and mentally active. When you're living by yourself, it can be tempting to fall into a routine of doing very little less, especially if mobility becomes a challenge or if you're feeling unmotivated due to loneliness. But maintaining an active body and mind is essential, not just for longevity, but for a sense of well-being, confidence, and personal dignity. Staying physically active doesn't mean intense exercise or going to a gym. It means doing what your body can handle regularly and consistently. This could include daily walks, gentle stretching, chair yoga, tai chi, or even basic household chores that keep your body moving. Motion truly is lotion for aging joints and muscles. Physical movement helps improve balance, prevent falls, maintain mobility, boost energy levels, and even fight depression. For those over 80, physical activity also serves a mental purpose. It gives you a reason to get up, get dressed, and engage with the world each day. Wise elders often talk about how a simple morning walk became their source of routine, joy, and connection to nature. Even if you're indoors, following light movement videos, dancing to your favorite music, or tending to a garden can keep your body engaged and your spirits lifted. Equally important is keeping your mind sharp and stimulated. After 80, the risk of cognitive decline becomes more real, especially for those who are isolated. But staying mental. Loneliness can feel overwhelming after 80, especially when close friends have passed, family has become distant, or mobility limits your social life. But wise elders often emphasize that connection doesn't have to end just because people from your past are no longer around. You can still reach out and rebuild new social connections, even later in life, and doing so is one of the most powerful ways to protect your mental, emotional, and even physical health. First, it's important to acknowledge that loneliness is not a weakness. It's a very real human experience, especially in old age, and it deserves attention. Studies show that chronic loneliness can increase the risk of heart disease, depression, dementia, and even premature death. That's why taking steps to stay socially engaged is as important as taking your medication or eating healthy meals. Rebuilding social connections may seem daunting, especially if you're shy, grieving, or unsure of where to begin. But it starts with something small: a single phone call, a brief conversation with a neighbor, or joining a group that shares your interests. Community centers, senior clubs, religious groups, and even local libraries often have programs specifically for older adults. These aren't just places to pass time, they're opportunities to meet people who understand your stage of life and may be seeking connection. In today's world, technology can be a helpful bridge. Many elders now use smartphones, tablets, or computers to stay connected with others. From video calls with distant family to joining virtual book clubs or prayer groups, the online world offers a doorway to friendships and activities you can access without leaving home. Learning basic tech skills, perhaps with the help of a grandchild or community volunteer, can open up a new world of connection. Another valuable source of companionship is volunteering. Giving your time, even in small ways, not only helps others but gives you a renewed sense of purpose and belonging. Elders who volunteer often report feeling younger, more alive, and more connected to their community. It's also important to nurture emotional connections, not just social ones. Reaching out doesn't always mean finding new friends. It can also mean reconnecting with yourself, your memories, and your values. Writing letters, revisiting photo albums, or journaling your experiences can help you feel more grounded and open your heart to deeper conversations with others. Wise elders often say, if people don't come to you, go to where the people are. And if you can't go far, create social opportunities in your space. Invite someone for tea, sit outside where people pass by, or start a small group in your living area or building. Rebuilding connection takes effort, but it pays off in joy, laughter, and a renewed sense that you still matter to the world. Even one meaningful interaction a day can change how you feel about life. At any age, and especially after 80, human connection remains a vital source of healing, happiness, and hope. After 80, especially when living alone, many seniors experience long stretches of solitude. While loneliness can be painful, solitude, when embraced with the right mindset, can become a peaceful, even joyful, part of life. Wise elders often speak of how learning to find joy in solitude and in life's small moments becomes not just a survival skill, but a spiritual gift. Solitude allows space for self-reflection, rest, and peace, especially after a life filled with responsibilities, family duties, and social obligations. When you are no longer bound by the demands of others, you gain the freedom to reconnect with yourself. In the quiet, many elders find answers to questions they've carried for decades, as well as a deeper appreciation for simply being. The key is not to fill silence with distractions, but to learn how to sit with yourself in comfort and acceptance. Small rituals help make this possible. A morning cup of tea enjoyed slowly by the window, listening to birds, feeling the sun on your skin, or watching the rain fall. These little moments can offer more joy than big events once did. They're simple, accessible, and deeply nourishing to the soul. Many wise elders speak about cultivating mindfulness, being present in the here and now. You don't need to attend a class or know fancy techniques. Just paying full attention to your breath, the taste of your food, or the sound of a favorite song can bring a deep sense of gratitude. Mindfulness turns ordinary experiences into sacred ones. Finding joy in solitude also means giving yourself permission to do what brings you quiet pleasure. This could be gardening, knitting, reading, writing poetry, watching old movies, listening to spiritual talks, or creating something with your hands. These are not just hobbies, they're acts of self-care and celebration of life. You are allowed to enjoy your own company. There's also healing in nature. Sitting under a tree, planting flowers, or taking a slow walk through the neighborhood can help you feel connected to something larger. Nature reminds you that life continues, grows, and changes and that you are still a part of that flow. Importantly, solitude also helps you reconnect with a sense of inner strength. You begin to realize that your happiness is no longer dependent on others showing up for you. This independency, emotional and spiritual, is one of the greatest forms of empowerment in your later years. Of course, some days will feel harder than others, and that's natural. But by building a habit of noticing beauty, feeling gratitude for what remains, and embracing the stillness instead of fearing it, solitude transforms into a sanctuary, not a sentence. In the end, wise elders teach us that even in a quiet, simple day, there can be deep contentment. Joy is not good, it's just quieter now. And in that quiet, you may discover the most peaceful version of yourself. One of the greatest gifts you possess after the age of 80 is your lifetime of experience. You have lived through changes, challenges, triumphs, losses, and lessons that no book or university can fully teach. Wise elders understand that surviving alone in the later stages of life becomes far more meaningful when you choose to pass down your wisdom and life lessons to others, whether to family, friends, community members, or even strangers. Even if you live alone, your voice and stories still matter. In fact, they may matter now more than ever. Sharing your experiences helps you reflect on your life, find healing, and create a legacy that continues long after you're gone. It also gives others, especially younger generations, a rare and valuable perspective. In a world obsessed with speed and novelty, your calm, time-tested insights offer grounding and depth. You don't need to be a famous person or a published author to share meaningful lessons. Your story, your failures, your values, and your decisions, all of it carries wisdom. You can begin by writing letters to your children, grandchildren, or even your younger self, expressing what you've learned about life, love, regret, resilience, and happiness. You might be surprised how deeply these reflections touch others. If writing feels difficult, consider recording audio or video messages. Even a simple voice note, sharing a memory, or a personal principle can become a cherished keepsake. Some elders start journals or scrapbooks, while others tell stories through photo albums, recipes, or handmade crafts that symbolize family traditions. Passing down wisdom also strengthens your own spirit. It reminds you that your life has mattered not just in what you did, but in what you learned from it. Many elders say that revisiting their experiences with the intention of helping others brought them peace, closure, and even a renewed sense of identity. If you're part of a community, whether a church, senior center, or local group, you might also offer to speak with younger members, mentor someone, or participate in an intergenerational project. Simply listening and sharing your story with a young person can build bridges of empathy and understanding. Your insights can inspire better choices, deeper thought, and emotional strength in others. Importantly, this keynote isn't about lecturing or proving you're right. It's about offering guidance from a place of humility and care. You've earned the right to speak with quiet authority, not through titles or status, but through endurance, perspective, and compassion. In a time when you may feel overlooked or forgotten, choosing to give your wisdom to others is a powerful way to stay connected and purposeful. Whether your lessons are shared broadly or just with one person, you are planting seeds that will grow beyond your lifetime. In the words of many wise elders, you may not be able to walk far, but your words can still travel across generations. And that, in itself, is a beautiful form of immortality. One of the most empowering things you can do after 80, especially if you are living alone, is to prepare practically for your own independence and safety. Wise elders understand that true peace of mind in old age doesn't come only from emotional or spiritual strength, but also from knowing that your daily life is well organized, manageable, and secure. As we grow older, physical strength may decline, memory may not be as sharp, and reaction times may slow down. That's why it's critical to take proactive steps to ensure that your home environment, health needs, and daily routines support safe, independent living. The goal isn't to invite fear, but to make smart decisions now that reduce worry and improve quality of life later. Start by evaluating your living space. Is your home senior friendly? Remove tripping hazards like loose rugs or cluttered floors. Install grab bars in the bathroom. handrails on stairs, and motion sensor lights in key areas. Ensure that everything you need regularly is within easy reach. No more climbing stools. Oh,